What's your number? A lot of people may think there's a magic number that will determine when we can retire, but that number looks different for everyone.
Well, there are some things you can do right now to help set a realistic goal for your retirement. This morning, we welcome Jim Heafner, president of Heafner Financial. He's a certified financial planner and is known also as the Carolinas retirement coach. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So let's start with this. How do we know when we can retire?
Well, the first question is knowing how much you'll need to spend in retirement, right? So I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you have a pen or a paper and a pencil, if you'd take that out and write down that number for yourself. When you retire, what will you need each month to pay your bills, right? Now, I don't mean what you could live on. So I find these macho guys will say, well, I could live on $10,000 a month. I could live in a tent and hunt my game and cook it over. No, maybe for a weekend,
yes,
right?
you can,
but not every day.
Yes.
So what do you need over the course of a year on a monthly basis to spend to give you that lifestyle that you want? So, you know, that means Christmas gifts for your grandkids and the new car you've got to buy every so often, insurance, all that kind of stuff. So write all that down. Got an answer? If you're like most people, your paper's still blank. Because most people have no idea what it's going to take when they retire to pay those bills every month. Now, what's worse than that is they don't know what they need today to pay those bills. And that's critical. You've got to know what it is you spend on a monthly basis today while you're working.
So let's talk about that. Why should you know that number? Because we've got fixed spending, we got discretionary spending, and sometimes that kind of gets blown out. So why do we need to narrow it down?
Well, it's all important, but there's two reasons really why you want to know that. And one is this: if you don't know what you're spending and where it's going, it's really hard to plan. It's hard to be effective saving if you don't know where your money's going. Once you do, you can be a better saver. The second reason is that it's the easiest way to get to what you need in retirement. If we know you spend $100,000 per year, for example, today while you're working, we can adjust that for what will that be like when you're retired. So maybe you say, well, I won't have a mortgage then. Well, great. Let's take that principal and interest payment out of that monthly need, and let's add in the extra travel you'll be doing, or whatever that's going to be, and then we'll inflate that out over time and get you that number. So it's critical to have that starting point.
That makes so much sense. That's why we need to know those numbers. Otherwise, you're just arbitrarily picking a number that I guess I need this much to retire.
Which is usually wrong.
Yeah, which is usually wrong. So do people generally spend more or less when they're retired?
Well, most people, I think, assume they will spend less in retirement because over the years we've been told by financial advisors, plan for 70% of what your annual spend today is in retirement. But in my experience, people spend more in retirement. Why? Think about it. Every day's Saturday, right? I play some more golf. I want to travel and see Europe. I want to get an RV, travel the country, see America. You got more grandkids about Christmas. I mean, most people spend more in retirement than they do.
Wow.
Well, let's drill this down, too, because you mentioned about spending, and sometimes it could be inflated. So a budget, how important is developing a budget to make sure that you can dial down and drill down what you're doing?
Well, it's really important that you have a budget. Now, most people don't.
Nobody.
Right? Maybe when you just get married and you're starting out and you have no income.
And then it goes out the window.
Yeah, but once you have income, you say, I don't need that budget.
I don't need a budget anymore.
But, and you don't have to have that. I mean, I can tell you, looking at your tax return in 60 seconds what you're spending. So I can tell you what that is. But if you have a budget, it's really useful. You know, Get Quick, and there's some program that tracks your expenses, so that gives you a great power to plan for yourself. But again, if you don't have it, we can tell you what that is. But our goal for you is to say, first of all, what is your vision? What is your dream for retirement? What's important for you to do? Where will you live? What will you spend your time doing? And once we know that, we can take your situation that we now have to understand about you and what you're spending and what you're doing, and adjust for that difference. That's not that hard to do once we know the starting points.
I know you care so much about your clients, and I know that's why it's the first question you ask them. What do you envision your retirement to be like? Because it helps you plan for that kind of retirement.
Well, we take your dreams seriously at Heafner Financial, and if you don't, you have to have a plan. If you hope it's going to happen, it
ain't going to happen.
Right. Well, you just heard why it's so important to start your retirement planning early. And if you need the help of a trusted financial professional, call Jim Heafner and his team. The first 5 callers will receive a complimentary, no-obligation financial review. 704-5 704-552-1230. Again, 704-552-1230. Call that number now or visit Jim's website. It's you'lljustknow.com. Jim Heafner from Heafner Financial, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Indeed.